Hello YouTube, Forever Endeavors. So this is a video I had not planned on making. This is my wife's Denali, and we've had it for a long time. We bought it with pretty low miles on it. I've kept full synthetic oil in it, took care of it pretty good, but we haven't driven it much since we just went through some life changes, and we're driving different vehicles and stuff for different reasons. But anyway, this thing was sitting. It's been stored out of the weather and stuff like that. I start it periodically. It's got the 6-liter in it. I start it periodically and stuff to keep everything flowing and running. And it had some ethanol fuel in it. And I put non-ethanol fuel on top of it and ran it quite a bit, and thought that I had gotten pretty much all the ethanol out of the system, or thought it was diluted so much with the non-ethanol fuel it wouldn't matter. And I knew at some point I knew that ethanol fuel can cause sticking valves, but kind of forgot about it, and decided to get this thing running and fix it up so we could start driving it again. And found these wheels and tires on Marketplace, like brand new tires. They're takeoffs off a GMC truck, so got those on there. And I knew the engine had a misfire, and I was pretty confident that it was the fuel injectors. So started putting wires and plugs on. Still had the misfire, so I was confident it was the fuel injectors. So pulled the fuel rails, and sure enough, it was the back two on each side. Fuel injectors were stopped up. So I used a little Amazon kit, and I was able to blow them out and clean them out with fuel injector cleaner and stuff. It was a little sketchy, but anyway, I got them both working, and the thing fired up and ran great. Sounded awesome. It was due for an oil change, so I shut it off and changed the oil, and fired it back up, and sounded even better with the fresh oil change. And I shut it off one more time to make sure the oil was full to the top, and I leveled the oil off, added a little bit, got it to the top. And then when I started it the third time, I heard a mechanical bang inside, so that was tragic. I'm pretty confident. I had forgotten completely that ethanol fuel can stick valves. I just forgot about it. In my mind, worst case scenario is it would maybe clog up in another injector, and I would have to maybe do one more injector clean. I should have cleaned the tank out, obviously. I should have flushed all the fuel out of the tank, but it was running really good, and I was confident it was all non-ethanol fuel anyway. So that was my mistake for assuming that. So anyway, I have not torn into it yet. This channel is all about taking what you got. You know, you can fix what you got, do it right, and you don't have to spend a ton of money, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But we're going to tear this thing open. See, I'm pretty confident a valve stuck and a piston slapped the valve. I'd start it, but I don't want to tear it up any worse. That it made a loud mechanical clank, and then it started right at the same time it made the noise and had a knock. So I'm pretty confident, and it sounded like it was still running on all 8 even though it was knocking, but I'm pretty confident piston smacked the valve and either broke the skirt or bent a rod or something. But it's a Gen 3. It's got Gen 3 parts in it. It's an 04. I've kept full synthetic oil in it, and the thing was in good shape, but I went ahead, found a set of Gen 4 rods last night that were reconditioned at a machine shop and everything for $100. So might as well put some Gen 4 parts in, and I'm hoping it didn't destroy the block. So we're going to tear this thing down and see exactly what we have ahead of us for the next week as far as getting this thing. I'm trying to do it as quick as I can, and we will get this thing tore down and resume the video. So we did some homework, and some investigating, found out what's going on. It was one of the two things I thought it might be. The two fuel injectors that I cleaned, quote unquote, with the little Amazon fuel injector cleaning kit, both of them suck. And hydrolocked the motor. It filled number 7 and number 8 cylinder full of gas, literally between the time it took me to shut the engine off and top off the oil after I changed it and get back in the car. So literally a minute, it filled the 2 back cylinders, and there was not quite enough to completely stop the motor from turning over, but it was enough so that it put enough pressure on the piston to either broke the skirt or bent the connecting rod, because it's knocking. The oil pressure was still good because it started. I heard a little noise. Well, it was pretty loud. I heard a bang. The engine fired up, and I had the wherewithal to look at the oil pressure before I shut it down, and it was fine. The oil pressure was it was around 60 pounds. So I don't think there's anything wrong on the bottom end, but well, I mean, it's the rod, so I guess that is the bottom end, right? Anyway, it's a Gen 3 motor, and I'm probably gonna do some stuff later on with it. So I ordered some Gen 4 rods, trying to figure out what pistons I want to run still. So it's got almost 200,000 miles on it. Super clean inside. I'll put some pictures under the valve covers and stuff. I've kept full synthetic oil in it. It just sucks, dude, because I tried to go buy some injectors, and they either were super expensive, like $160 a piece, or if they had them, they had one and couldn't find if there any other stores had them. And I didn't want to buy one injector, and in hindsight's 2020, right? I should have. But anyway, I did the little cleaning procedure, and they seemed fine, and they weren't leaking during the little testing I did. But that's under aerosol can pressure and not fuel line pressure. So yeah, hindsight's 2020. Just buy a freaking set of injectors if the car's been sitting this long, as far as I'm concerned. You know, from someone that knows what they're doing, or just spend the money and buy some new ones. I'm never going to try to clean an injector again, I'll tell you that. But fortunately, it didn't destroy the head. It looks like it's just the pistons are still on the connecting rods, all that kind of stuff. The top of the piston, I took a bore scope and put it in there. Top of the pistons look good and stuff like that, but pretty sure we're going to find a broken skirt or a bent rod or both, because I pulled all the plugs out, and when you turn the motor over, it is a knock. It's not very loud. It's subtle, but it's enough where I didn't want to fire it up again. So we're just going to tear it out, put some Gen 4 rods in it, get the rotating assembly balanced probably, and unless I find out this is a Gen 4 motor, then we'll just put the rods in there. I'm going to find some stock size pistons, and we're just going to, cylinders look good in the bore scope, and the thing doesn't smoke at all or anything like that. You know, it started right up. There wasn't a tick before this happened. There wasn't a tick. There wasn't a tap. There wasn't no smoke. This thing ran like brand spanking new, man. So anyway, it's a good time to rebuild it. It's got almost 200,000 miles, so we're going to do that. Hang in there with us, and we'll get this together and do something cool with it, man, because it's a pretty nice old ride, man. I don't say so myself. Just got to wash her up and stuff. But anyway, we'll see you as we make progress.